Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. I usually dislike these kinds of teas. This is an example of a modern style of tea production that I think is produced predominantly for looks because, well, look at them. These buds look spectacular, big, furry, golden needles that just like pop as soon as you see them. But every time I brewed some of these teas, when I've been sampling over the years, I've just thought this is a paltry example of what a Dianhong Yunnan black tea, golden bud tea should be. And I prefer golden bud teas that are smaller, that are finer, that are less of this sort of flamboyant giant needles, but instead like have a little bit more delicacy to them because I think it has more character in the taste. But I can always be proved wrong, and I'm happy to be proved wrong. And when I sampled this particular giant bud tea, let's call it, and I don't know a name for it yet, but we'll try to work one out by the end of this video, I had to eat my words and say, this is a very special tea. So we're going to sample it. Hopefully it lives up to my memory of it. Let's quickly scope this. This is 19th of March, 2024. So early picked tea. Normally sort of in Yunnan, they're picking in April. So this is on the earlier side. So they're sort of picking these buds early. Another reason why I tend to be like, yeah, a bit too early, but hey, 19th of March. Is the date. Cultivar Daiyezhong, big leaf variety. Origin, this is from Fengqing, the famed area for black tea, the most famous area for black tea in Yunnan, which is one of the most famous provinces for black tea in the world. So Fengqing, heartland of black tea. Most of our black tea comes from Fengqing because it is just spectacular terroir for black tea. But I've always been a bit like, oh, please make sure you produce the traditional stuff and not just the modern stuff like this because, you know, even though this looks good, I've found that the taste hasn't lived up to the expectations. So Fengqing, Yunnan, China, picking on this, as you can see, bud only. This is just straight up giant bud tea and elevation is about 1,000 meters. So a looker usually does not taste that good. You could apply that to other parts of life as well. You know, very, very pretty tea, but usually lacks character, lacks flavor, lacks, I've always like tasted I've received so many of these types of teas over the years. And every time I look at them, I don't even want, I just, honestly, sometimes I'm just like, I'm not even bothered tasting it. I do, but like, I just don't really want to because I know that I'm going to get this, yeah, it's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. It's going to be like a Yunnan golden bud taste, but weaker. So bigger bud, but weaker in terms of aromatics and flavor. I've picked this long pot because I want to just get those needles standing up in here. Right, let's see if this beauty lives up to its expectations in character. Here we go. So, the nose on this is nothing like Dianhong's, in my view. It is spice forward. There is a shedful of saffron, and I'm not a huge saffron fan. I like saffron, but I always find it a bit overpowering in dishes. But here, like, it is in full effect, and it's just like, it wakes you up. It's just saffron central. And then a load of other spices. There's grenadine, so that pomegranate syrup, rosehip syrup, so rosehip, grenadine. There's just so much going on here. Getting a touch of cocoa. I'm getting cherries. I'm getting cinnamon. I'm getting so much out of this. This is the absolute difference that of, you know, what I'm used to with these things. Come on, focus. Inside, inside. You're not going to do it, are you? You're just not going to do it. Okay. It reminds me of really funky Jamaican overproof rums. Green banana, overripe fermented mangoes. It's like you've just taken like this mishmash of like fruits and spices, and you just sort of bunged them in a fermentation tank. It's crazy. It's a crazy smell. I mean, it is a crazy, crazy smell. Pomegranate, rosehip, chocolate or cocoa, tons and tons of green banana, overripe mango, a little bit of flowers as well, like lotus flowers. It is just the polar opposite of what I expect from these types of teas. And that's what just was like, what the hell's going on here? This one is different. And it is very, very different. All right, let's see how it smells when it is wet. Okay, so more vegetables coming through. Still getting the saffron. I'm getting steamed artichoke hearts, just the hearts of the artichoke. I'm getting cinnamon, more like cinnamon gum. See that? Yeah. Oh, it's just too much. It's just too much for my nose to handle. Trying to split it all up is just so difficult. But yeah, at the moment I'm just getting loads of cinnamon gum, so I'm trying to let that pass. The steamed artichokes are definitely there. The grenadine is still there. The overripe mango is still there. It's a whole load of fruits, not just mango. So like overripe pineapples, just that overripe, overproof rum smell. If you like your Jamaican funk in your rums, like Rare Nephews or Rum Fire or those kinds of very, very, you know, intense, funky smells. Like there's golden syrup, so there's that sugarcane note as well. Molasses. What I would imagine dunder to smell like, the sort of sticky residue after you sort of ferment down cane juice. It is just funk. It's just straight up funk. It's a funky needle. Okay, let's brew this up. Oops. Hey, don't leak on me, kettle. 95 degrees. I don't know how to brew this, so I'm going to just feel it out and see what happens. Man, the notes on this tea, just so different from any other black tea. So chapeau, hats off to the producer. You've proved me wrong. You can get some ridiculous aromatics and character out of these good-looking teas. I didn't think it was possible, but clearly it is. All right, let's see how that is. Color. Whoa, my God, the amount of trichomes in there. That is just very central in there. That is going to be velvet going down. Let's see if I'm right, but that seems like it's going to be thick. Let's see. So thick. Almost difficult to swallow, it's so thick. Thick, oily, toffees, saffron toffee. That saffron mixed with the sweet notes. Rosehip, grenadine, cinnamon. I'm in the spice market. Allspice, cardamom, green banana, overripe pineapple. It's got like a tomatoey note to it, but I like It's like if you took like freshly canned, not freshly canned, if you took canned tomato, you open it, you get that fresh tomato note to it, but then it's like sugared. So imagine like a tomato jam, like a sugared tomatoes. I know that sounds weird, but like tomatoes are a fruit, and so in China they actually put them on the fruit platters with the watermelon. But like very, very sweet. Like, yeah, tomato jam. Nuts. Just nuts. Saffron, cinnamon, sweet, sweet, sweet. Fennel fronds, sweetness. I mean, too many descriptors. But the overall character and quality is one of sitting like next to a spice bazaar, just loads and loads of spices, overwhelming saffron, cinnamon, allspice, cardamom, you know, and fruits as well. They're sort of like in the sun. They're kind of ripening, over ripening. To the pineapples, the mangoes, some green bananas to add a little freshness, but sort of a zing to it, and these sort of sweet tomato jam, toffees. Just overwhelmingly crazy, this tea. Cocoa. I'm just seeing weird stuff. I'm imagining like taking like dark chocolate biscuits, dark cocoa biscuits, and sort of dunking them in like a spiced sweet tomato jam with like, I don't know, like fennel seeds and all sorts of spices over the top. It is just crazy. A crazy tea. And I love it. I love the funk. I love the craziness of it. I mean, it's the reason why I do love, you know, the Jamaican funk in terms of rums. You know, it's just, and it leaves your mouth with the most insane aftertaste. Again, saffron and overripe mangoes are there. And then that like fennel seed, as I said, fennel seed sweetness. Lots of ums in this video because it's just sort of blowing me away. How did this happen? What did they do different? Why are all the other ones I've tasted never like this? There's so many questions that this tea raises for me. Soft, thick, oily. I mean, the criticism that you could have is like structurally in the mouth, it is potentially a bit too soft. But when you have all of that character coming through in terms of aromatics and taste, that's perfectly fine. And when I say too soft, I mean it's nice, it's easy drinking. Like I look for a little bit more like oomph, a bit more punch, right? In terms of structure. This is just velvety. It's one of the reasons why I fell in love with Golden Bud back in the day. It was like, how is a tea so soft? Now, as I've sort of matured in my journey of tea, my preference has moved more to have a bit more punch, but it is the archetype of soft and just velvety in terms of texture. And the taste is just crazy. Like, it's like a cocktail. It's like I've taken, here we go. It's like I've taken an overproof Jamaican rum full of that fruity funk, overripe funk and green bananas. And then I've mixed it with some grenadine syrup, which is, you know, and some other spices like cinnamon and like some allspice, like velvet falernum, like allspice dram and like some cinnamon in there. It's like, it is a cocktail. It's like a rum cocktail. It's just crazy. Madness. A mad tea. And warming, comforting, a very, very special tea. Take a look at these buds again and watch how they've sort of become more uniform in color. Focus on it then. They are stunners for sure. Let's have a smell of the empty Gong Da Bei when I can. So warming. Whoa, it's just lit a fire in me. I'm interested to see. Let's open up one of these buds. See how many layers have we got in here. It's always a telltale sign as how well these have been. Like if the picking is really good, you want to see multiple layers, at least 3. Yeah, there's at least 3 layers here. And I probably could open up that small one again. Come on, focus. You can see 1, 2, 3. Maybe that small one there has another one inside it, possibly. So definitely first pickings of the year. I was going to drink from here. Left my tongue with a little bit of, you know how cinnamon can sometimes leave your tongue with a slightly sort of almost numbing quality to it, almost like mala Sichuan peppercorny kind of numbing tingliness to it. Let's have a smell. Ooh, different. Vanilla. It reminds me of blondies, vanilla blondies. So not, yeah, no chocolate brownie. Oh, just vanilla and creamy. Actually quite simple and vanilla-y and blonde. Not to say blondes are simple, but you know what I mean. Compared with the taste and the aroma of the leaves, which continues to just knock you round the face with just saffron toffees and rose hips and tomato jams. It is a effing crazy tea. So if you are interested in tasting the funk, then get these funky needles. I don't know what I'm going to call them, but I'll stick a link in the description below, and you can go seek it out. A shocker and a good reminder that you can always be surprised in your tea journey. That's it, tea heads. Check out other videos, taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you ever visit London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the funky stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.